Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern Ned Reynolds in the studio, halfway point of the week. If I was to guess on a team in the World Classic to upset Team USA, it would not have been a European country. Definitely South America or possibly Japan, but Italy would have been pretty low on the list.
Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. When I turned it on late because I've been watching the Bears game. The Italian team was already up 8-0. I said, what, is this a misprint? This can't be. Now, in all fairness, the Italian team is mostly American major leaguers or high-level minor league players. Like Jack Caglione, who had a home run last night and a couple of RBIs for Team Italy. Name familiar? Of course, he's Kansas City Royals' pending superstar. Anyway, the Italians win the game over USA 8-6. Now, the Americans did rally, came back, made it close, bases loaded, ninth inning, Aaron Judge at bat, and he struck out to end the game. Well, you don't always get the hit. That's just it. Why were they behind that much? Well, who knows why. Michael Lorenzen, who was the that's not an Italian name, folks, but Michael Lorenzen was the starting pitcher for Italy. He's Colorado Rockies starter, and he threw 4.5 innings of outstanding baseball, shut down the American team completely. But the fact of the matter remains, the USA is now in jeopardy of not making it into the quarterfinal round. They have to have a particular formula followed by Italians and Mexico when they play today. Italy and Mexico. It has to be a certain score and numbers of runs scored and so forth. Anyway, it's not in the USA hands. They're out of options now. They have to get some help to gain. Do they get it? Well, we'll find out a little bit later on today. But Italy wins the game 8-6, and that's a shocker to say the very least.
Like I said, if you would have asked me which team could upset Team USA, it would not have been the Italians. But again, they're all major leaguers anyway, so who knows. But you mentioned before you got a chance to watch that game, you were watching the Bears game. How'd that go?
This was the Bears basketball game that I was watching, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later on. But Missouri State won, and they won their way into the quarterfinal round, which will be coming up today. But talk more about that. This is the baseball team that played in Cape Girardeau, and oh my goodness sake. That's as sloppy a performance by Missouri State that I have ever seen. Throwing the ball all over, failure to do some of the fundamentals in baseball, errors. Now, errors do happen. They're part of the game, but gosh, there are other key factors that did not happen. And as a result, Southeast Missouri beat the Bears yesterday 13-6. Southeast Missouri got off to a huge lead in this game, mainly thanks to some walks and some errors and some misplays and some fundamental baseball that wasn't followed, and that's not Joey Hawkins' type of team, and certainly not Keith Gutton's type of team. That was an uninspired game, to say the very least. Anyway, the Bears now head to St. Louis, and they'll be flying to Lynchburg, Virginia, I think probably later on today. And they play Liberty, they being the Bears, Liberty this weekend in a 3-game series, and that is the conference opener. First time the Bears will have played in Conference USA. So that's the biggie. You want to get off to a good start in the conference, but they certainly did not preface that by losing yesterday 13-6.
We saw the Kansas City Chiefs pick up a lot of players this week. Yesterday lost 2, Leo Chenal going to Washington and Pacheco going to Detroit.
Yeah, that's the Pacheco to Detroit one doesn't surprise me, but Chenal going to the Washington Commanders does, and that's tough. This kid, Wisconsin Badger in his college days, and a hard hitter, and a guy who really appeared to be focused on the Chiefs defense and played well. He will not be wearing the Chiefs uniform this year, but you know, Mike, you never say never, because 2 days ago, Max Crosby went to the Baltimore Ravens.
Dude.
Deal has been canceled. That's right, folks. It has been canceled because Crosby apparently has a significant knee injury that needs repair of some sort. Anyway, that's the story that's being bandied around by the media. Crosby will not be going to the Baltimore Ravens now, and I assume he'll stay with the Las Vegas Raiders. I assume that. You know, the time is passing for free agent deals and so forth and so on. But who knows what might happen. A trade could come off. But Max Crosby will not be wearing the Ravens uniform as of now unless something happens.
It's just, what a show that was yesterday. I think the funniest thing was one of the subs I followed said, The Ravens trade Max Crosby to the Las Vegas Raiders for 2 first-round picks, which is the opposite of what they traded for. Last time we talked, you spoke of your displeasure on the Missouri State baseball Bears team. Well, what about the basketball Bears? How'd they do?
Well, they put the ball in the hole, and that's what counts.
That's what matters.
They made some mistakes out on the court, but the final line is they did win the game. The Bears defeated Florida International 75-72. And in my opinion, watching the game, the Bears deserved to win. They were the superior team, shot 53% from the field, and that's usually going to win for you. And it did with the Kobe Williams scoring a high of 15 last night. But all the Bears were in there scoring. Now, the Florida International team is very physical, but from a coaching standpoint, they didn't have the rhythm, and in any of the games didn't appear to have the rhythm to beat the Bears, and they did not yesterday. 75-72 is the final, and that moves the Bears now into the quarterfinal round, which is today, and it will be at 5:30, and the Bears are playing the top seed, Liberty. But, Mike, I'm here to tell you, Liberty can be beaten. They have lost a number of games down the stretch. They're a team that is, I don't think, physically as strong as Missouri State. Probably a little bit better offensively, but who knows what might happen. It is basketball, and when you shoot 53% from the field, if the Bears can keep that up, and they're certainly capable of doing that, they can win. They can win this whole tournament and get in the NCAA. Wouldn't that be a surprise?
Be a lot of fun, and if you're going to come on, now's the time to come on.
You bet.
We've got playoffs happening for the high school dudes right now, don't we?
This is the larger class schools, 4, 5, and 6. Class 4 is the only one to have sectional rounds. Why is that? Because there are more Class 4 teams in the state than there are 5 and 6. So the 5 and 6 teams go right to the quarterfinals, and they'll start on Friday. Class 4 had their sectionals. The girls played on Monday. The guys played last night. Logan Rogersville over Southern Boone, 72-39, and Forsyth was clipped by Nevada, 53-46. They were the two area teams involved. So those teams now, Rogersville and Nevada, go on to the quarterfinals, and they'll be playing Friday and hopefully on Saturday with fingers crossed.
And the Blues, I knew it was going to happen eventually. They can't win them all.
But they did get a point.
Yes, sir.
And that does count. Every little bit counts. I really think it's a stretch to think they're going to make the Stanley Cup playoffs, but it's not all that unbelievable because there are still 18 games to play for the St. Louis Blues, and they are within shouting distance of getting in as a wild card. Lost to the New York Islanders in overtime 4-3, but in overtime, the losing team gets 1 point, and the Blues did get that 1 point. Big story last night in professional sports, Mike, was Bam Adebayo of the Miami Heat. Bam Adebayo last night scored 83 points in the game. That is the second all-time highest game in NBA history. Of course, you know who has the all-time highest game. Everybody knows that one. Mr. Chamberlain in 1962 with 100. I don't think it'll ever be touched. Bam Adebayo last night, 83 points. His team won 150-129 over the Washington Wizards. So congratulations to the one-time Kentucky All-America Bam Adebayo. 83 points, second highest in NBA history.
Ned, have a wonderful Wednesday, and I will see you tomorrow.